Hi all, in this video we will be looking at the second chapter of class 6th Ncert history textbook titled From Hunting Gathering to Growing Food. The first heading, the earliest people. Why were they on the move? Who were the hunter-gatherers? The people who lived in the subcontinent as early as 2 million years ago are described as hunter-gatherers. The name comes from how they got their food, by hunting wild animals, catching fish and birds, and gathering fruits, nuts, seeds, leaves, stalks, and eggs, etc. So what is stalks? Stalks is the main stem of a herbaceous plant. So why were they always moving? 4 reasons have been mentioned. Number 1, if they stayed in one place too long, they would have eaten up all the available plant and animal resources. Second, animals move from one place in search of prey or grass and leaves, so hunters who hunted them had to follow them. Thirdly, plants and trees bear fruits in different seasons, and the people had to move when the seasons changed. Fourthly, the people, plants, and animals need water to survive. So during dry seasons, that is during winter and summer, people had to search for water sources. In our subcontinent, there are 2 types of rivers, perennial rivers and seasonal rivers. What are perennial rivers? Rivers with water throughout the year. So seasonal rivers, as from the name itself we know, the rivers with water seasonally. The people living on such river banks would have had to go in search of water during the dry seasons. Next, how do we know about these people? How do we know about them? Through archaeological evidence. See, archaeologists have found things that hunter-gatherers made and used. While they likely made tools from stones, wood, and bone, stone tools have survived best over time and provided valuable insights to their lives. Let us see the uses of the stone tools. They used stone tools to cut the meat and bone, scrape animal hides, and that's too for clothing. What is hide? It is animal skin. They also scrape bark from trees. Scraping means to remove a top layer from something. So they scraped animal hides. They scraped bark from trees. They used stone tools for chopping wood for firewood, huts, and tools. They also used it for chopping fruit and roots, for digging the ground to collect edible roots, making spears and arrows for hunting by attaching stone tools to handles of bone or wood, etc. Stone tools were essential for survival, which allowed early humans to hunt, prepare food, make clothing, and build shelters, choosing a place to live in. Let us look, where did hunter-gatherers live? Archaeological sites show how hunter-gatherers carefully selected place to live based on several important factors, which are the factors. Number 1, water resources. Most of the sites were located near rivers and lakes. What is sites? In our textbook, there is given a detailed description of the site in page number 15. The sites are places where the remains of the things that were made, used, and left behind by people of ancient times. These may be found on the surface of the earth, buried under the earth, or sometimes even underwater. So, most of the sites where people lived were located near rivers and lakes, providing drinking water and attracting animals for hunting. Another important factor is shelter. See, caves and rock shelters provided protection from rain, heat, and wind. For example, we have given a site in Madhya Pradesh named Bhimbetka. Bhimbetka, which is situated in the present-day Madhya Pradesh, is an old site with caves and rock shelters. People chose these caves because they provided shelter from the rain, heat, and wind. These rock shelters are close to Narmada Valley. Look, Bhimbetka is here and the Narmada is flowing here. And the availability of stone is another important factor. So people chose places where good quality stone was easily available for making their tools. So next, plant resources. Areas with abundant edible plants, fruits, and roots were preferred for gathering food. They were hunters and gatherers, so they have to gather food and also hunt. These are the important factors for them to choose a spot for living. Next, rock paintings and what they tell us. Rock paintings are the art from the past. Many of the caves where early people lived have paintings on the walls. Some of the best examples are from Madhya Pradesh and southern Uttar Pradesh. These paintings show wild animals drawn with great accuracy and skill. Let's look on the features of such rock paintings. They had detailed depictions of wild animals like deer, bison, and elephants. Rock paintings are created using natural pigments like ochre, iron ore, and charcoal. These paintings show hunting scenes and daily activities of early humans. So some of the paintings date back thousands of years, providing a window into prehistoric life. Next, we shall discuss this box, names and dates. We are going to discuss the archaeological time periods. Archaeologists have given special names to different periods of prehistory based on the types of tools and technologies used. These are the three ancient periods. 1. Paleolithic, 2. Mesolithic, and 3rd, Neolithic. In these three words, we can see two Greek words are combined, paleo and lithos. Paleo means old and lithos means stone in English. So, Paleolithic age or old stone age. And in Mesolithic age, Meso means middle and lithos means stone. So, Mesolithic age or middle stone age. And in Neolithic, Neo means new and lithos means stone. So, Neolithic or new stone age. So, see here, the period is Paleolithic or Old Stone Age. The time range is 2 million years ago to 12,000 years ago. So the people lived from 2 million years ago to 12,000 years ago belonged to Paleolithic age. What were the key features? They used simple stone tools and they hunted and gathered food. So this is important. Paleolithic age covers 99% of human history. Next, Mesolithic age, which is also known as Middle Stone Age. The people lived from 12,000 years ago to 10,000 years ago belonged to this period. They witnessed the environmental changes. They used tiny stones called microliths. And the third one is Neolithic or New Stone Age, that is from 10,000 years ago. This age witnessed the beginning of farming and herding. The people of this era used polished stone tools, pottery, and settlement of life can be seen in this era. Next, we shall check on the environmental changes happened around 12,000 years ago. From 12,000 years ago to 10,000 years ago, which was the age? It is Mesolithic age. So, we are going to discuss the Mesolithic age from here onwards. So, around 12,000 years ago, there were significant changes in the world's climate with a shift to relatively warmer conditions. So, climate began to change to warmer conditions. This climate change triggered a chain of events that would transform how humans lived. Which were the changes? Warmer climatic conditions spread across many regions, which led to the development of grasslands in many areas, which increased the grass-eating animals like deer, antelope, goat, sheep, and cattle. Hunters began to follow grass-eating animals. They started learning about their habits. This close observation eventually led humans to think about herding and domesticating these animals. They started rearing these animals by themselves. Fishing also became more important as water sources become more stable. Next, the beginning of farming and herding. Let us first discuss the beginning of farming, that is beginning of agriculture. Around 8,000 years ago, people began growing plants and rearing animals. This was a gradual process that developed in different parts of the world. The shift from hunting, gathering to farming and herding marked one of the most important changes in human history. So let's look how they have begun that. People started to observe plants. This was also a time we have already discussed several grain-bearing grasses including wheat, barley and rice grew naturally in different parts of the subcontinent. So people noticed that the grain seeds scattered on the ground grew into new plants. In this way, they become farmers. Next, they also observed the animals. Hunters began attracting and then taming animals instead of just hunting them. The first animal to be tamed was the wild ancestor of dog. Later, people encouraged animals that were relatively gentle to come near the camps where they lived. These animals such as sheep, goat, cattle and also the pig lived in herds and most of them ate grasses. So often people protected these animals from attacks by other wild animals. This is how they become herders. For the agriculture and hunting, they have to develop the tools, right? So new tools were created for digging, planting, harvesting crops, etc. And gradually settlement also happened. So their life changed with farming. They have started permanent settlement. See, the shift from hunting gathering to farming and herding brought major changes to human lifestyle. People began to settle down in one place for longer periods, leading to the development of permanent settlement. So let us look the new developments in settled life. People built storage facilities to keep grain safe from moisture and pests. This allowed them to store food for the future. In many areas, they began making large clay pots. They wove baskets. They even dug pits into the ground for storing food grains. They created new tools like mortars and pestles. These are mortar and pestle for grinding grain. People built more permanent houses of mud bricks, and plant materials, often with several rooms. Settlements gradually grow into villages where people lived together, sharing resources and developing into social structures. We have given an example in the textbook like Bursa home, which is in today's Kashmir. We can see the people built pit houses, and archaeologists found cooking hearths both inside and outside the huts. We have to note this point. Did things change everywhere and all at once? No. The shift to agriculture was a gradual process. While some people adopted farming and herding, others continued with the hunting and gathering. Besides, in some cases, people tried to combine these activities, doing different things during different seasons. So, for the last, life in Mehergarh. Mehergarh is one of the earliest farming villages. It is one of the most important Neolithic sites in the subcontinent, located in the fertile plain near Bolan Pass in Balochistan, Pakistan. It is one of the most important Neolithic site in the subcontinent, located in a fertile plain near the Bolan Pass in Balochistan. Bolan Pass, which is one of the most important roads to Iran. See, let's look into the key discoveries at Mehergarh. Archaeologists found square or rectangular houses made of mud bricks with 4 to 5 compartments. Archaeologists found evidence of wheat and barley cultivation from here. Bones of animals including cattle, sheep and goat, and also the wild animals like deer and pig has been burials. People buried with ornaments made of shells and stones, and they was buried with goats which were probably meant to serve as food in the next world. From this we can assume that they might have the belief of life after death. Also, another Neolithic site is mentioned outside the subcontinent, which is in Turkey. See, Katal Huyuk. Several things were brought from great distances, were the things mentioned in the textbook. Flint, a kind of black stone brought from Syria, cowries which was brought from Red Sea, and shells which was brought from Mediterranean Sea. Remember, there were no carts. Most things would have been carried on the backs of the pack animals such as cattle or by people. So these are all the things discussed in the second chapter. So if you have any doubts or queries, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you.